I'm out here today on the 2002 Sportster. Figured I'd make some kind of little short video just out of boredom, as usual. Just left the house, probably ain't even really warmed up good yet. I'll go this way. Got across the proverbial hill. It's early enough, I might go out to the farm and mow. Make up my mind when we get to the second forks in the road. Friends of mine used to live in that house there. He doesn't work for that guy. And I don't know for sure, but I think the rent was part of the deal. They didn't own it. Grass ain't growing very fast now, but it's been a little while since I mowed out the farm. I'm still debating on whether to go or not. I just don't like to mow grass. I got neighbors down there, and I'm not ridiculing them for doing it. I mean, riding a motorcycle for no reason, which is what I do, don't make a whole lot of sense either. But they mow as a hobby, I think. They must enjoy it. There was one fork to the road. I ain't really considering this a forks of the road. This curve's tricky. I ain't lost one in it before, but I've come close to got that gravel in it, and a lot of times it's a lot worse. Anytime there's a road going up the hill like that, a steep gravel road, you're going to have gravel in the curve. That house we passed a few minutes ago, that big house sitting where I said I don't consider that a forks in the road, they had all them solar panels set up, and I wonder how much they actually save, how long it takes them to pay for their initial investment. I remember when I was a kid, I mean all through the 70s, I was born in 1966, but my dad was a roll letter carrier. He later became a postmaster, but that was in the mid-70s, about the time that all these people that was living a hippie lifestyle, almost like a nomadic lifestyle or communes or whatever, they all, I guess, decided to give up on it, but they were still kind of hippies. Anyway, Dad became friends with a lot of them, and a lot of them would be people that like might have been from up New York or New Jersey or somewhere originally, probably lived in California for a while, but they would move out here up at the end of old, just trashed roads. You couldn't hardly get up them. They buy these old farms because at the time they didn't cost much, and they would build them, I think Dad called them salt box houses. Had one real long side of the roof and one short side. Usually they built them out of like rough cut lumber. But anyways, we got to know several of them. Dad always was kind of I mean, he liked a simple lifestyle. I mean, he was a very intelligent man, but he kind of had an interest in their lifestyle. And I remember they would always run their water lines, not always, but a lot of times they'd run their water lines, just zigzag them up over that long side of the roof. And that was their hot water tank. I mean, that was their source for hot water. And I assume some of them probably lived in places that didn't even have a, I mean, might have had a drilled well, some of them might have had a dug well. Here's where I need to make up my mind. I think today I'll go this way, even though it ain't the most direct way to the farm. My dad was fortunate enough that he got to retire when he still had 20 years to live. He lived 20 years after retired, maybe 21 years. I can't remember whether he retired at 52 or 53. Seemed like he should have been older than that. It would have been 54. He was born in 39. He retired in the early 90s. But anyways, he got into farming because he liked it. I mean, just kind of small-time farming after he retired. But he used to admire, he kind of classified hippie-type people into two different bunches. The kind that was really industrious, I mean, resourceful, and the kind that wasn't. But them resourceful hippies were kind of self-sufficient. When they live off the grid and they meant it, they would raise goats and rabbits. Rabbits, surprisingly good source of meat. And a goat is a surprisingly resourceful animal. At least according to Dad, they were. And I think some of them hippies that we knew, like I say, I know for sure one of them was from New Jersey. And I suspect his family had money, and I mean, probably like his parents and stuff. But he'd built him a fairly nice house. It was way up at the end of a road, but you could get to it in a car. It just didn't get much traffic on it. But he later became a really successful real estate agent. We visited him a few times. We even bought a car from him. I think it was my brother's first decent car. It was a Toyota, like a Corolla or something. Anyway, we went in his house, and he had all kinds of nice deer mounts. Them hippies would hunt deer. I mean, and I assumed he got them from around here, but he got them up in New Jersey. He would go up to New Jersey, I think, and hunt a lot. Like I think his family probably did have a little money. But the deer hunting at the time, probably still now, surprisingly good in New Jersey. At least in parts of it. Then after he became the postmaster over in Leroy, which is, it's kind of a, Leroy itself is a small community, but the post office served a big area because it served Liverpool and Duncan and Leroy and, I mean, almost back into Ripley. But there was this hippie family, and they, I don't know how self-sufficient they was. I suspect that they probably, like all of society, I mean, some people got checks and things from the government, but he was married to a full-blooded Indian woman. And you don't think them, I don't know what tribe, American Indian woman, but she was real heavy set. Of course, they had all kinds of kids. You don't think of an Indian woman being heavy set. But he would bring Dad things. I'm sure they'd made out deer. I loved them. And I think he was a northerner. He called them salamis. I mean, his name was Blue, and his last name had the word green in it. I mean, like, I don't really want to say his last name, but it did have green in it. And this was way before the red green show. But he would get Dad these things. He would call them salamis. And like I suspect that Indian woman probably made them some kind of recipe or something. They didn't taste like salami. But they was like a Slim Jim, kind of tapered on the end. But they was about the size of a Slim Jim, maybe a little bigger around. And you could see seeds and stuff in them. Might have just been pepper seeds or something. But them was delicious. Anyways, me and a girlfriend at the time, she still lived at Gay. I didn't live at Gay anymore, but I just knew everybody up there. And the community was up at Gay was kind of getting together to help out a young family at the time. I didn't realize how young they was at the time and things, but the man might have been 30 years old at the time. He was a Vietnam veteran, and his wife was Vietnamese. Anyways, they was going to have a baby, and the community was kind of getting together and helping them out. Anyways, I got the duty of going after a baby bed. And this hippie family where I said the guy's name was Blue, they're the ones that had that baby bed. And it was out there at Leroy. Like I said, it was close to where my dad's post office was. And it was out a dirt road, which wasn't any trouble. I had a two-wheel drive Dodge truck at the time. Had a 3-speed in it. That don't get any granny gear. Anyways, went out that dirt road a good ways. Like I say, that wasn't any big deal. Then their driveway just shot straight up the hill. Real steep, rough, rugged. And if I remember right, about halfway up, it had a ditch across it, which I assume was for drainage. Anyways, I hit that Dodge truck of mine. Didn't have a whole lot of power, wasn't geared real low, and I only had 225. I'd hit that, and I had hit pretty good, but I tried to slow down for that big ditch going across there. Anyways, when I slowed down, I couldn't get across that ditch. I just didn't have enough power. I tried that a couple times, and finally I just had to hit it without that knuckle, and I did make up the hill. But there was kids running over the place up there. I don't know how many there was. And I remember they were playing with a pet possum. Went up there and got that baby bed. That girl I was talking about, she was with me. She didn't like anybody calling a possum a possum. She at one time had a pet possum named Otho. And she called her Otho opossum. It kind of rubbed her the wrong way if you called a possum instead of an opossum. Anyways, that guy, I said, was starting out a new family. He kind of seemed old to us at the time. I mean, we was like 18 years old, 16, 17, I don't know. Can't remember exactly how old he was, or we were. But his kids, I mean, he did eventually get a job. I don't know whether he got one after that or not, but he got a job in town, and his wife was custodian at one of the churches in town, and the kid's really successful. 2 kids that I know of. They're educated, successful. I mean, I'm glad they turned out like that. I'm going to start going slow because I want to get my joke in. This bike here is a little loud when you get under any acceleration, I mean any throttle when like going up a hill. My joke today will be about a proctologist. A butthole doctor, I figure everybody knows that. A proctologist. There's this old guy. He had a glass eye, and he liked to drink. He liked to go to the bars, and he'd always take his glass eye out, I guess just to show people around the barn and all this stuff. Well, he come home drunk one night. He gets in bed and he realizes the glass eye is still in. He knows he'll get iron irritation if he sleeps with it in, but he don't want to get out of bed. He takes that glass eye out and he puts it in a glass of water beside his bed. Well, anyways, he wakes up in the middle of the night, still about halfway asleep, thirsty. He gulps down that glass of water and swallows that glass eye. Don't even realize it. When he gets up next day, goes looking for his glass eye, and he can't find it. Ain't the first time he lost his glass eye, so he figured he must have lost it at the bar or something like that. And he got a spare, so he starts wearing it. A couple of weeks go by, and the guy's having trouble using the bathroom, and something just ain't right in his gut. So he goes to the doctor. Doctor says, I'm going to recommend you to the proctologist. He's old, but he's been at it for 50 years, and he's about the best I know. Anyway, the guy goes sees the proctologist. Proctologist takes him back in the exam room, puts him up on his exam table, has him assume a daggone it. Has him assume the position. He sticks that little scope up the guy's butt. Anyway, he pulls it out immediately, and he looks like he's seen a ghost. He tells the guy, he says, I'm sorry, sir, but I've got to retire. I'm going to refer you to a different proctologist. He said, I've been looking at people's assholes for 50 years, and this is the first time one looked back at me. Got my joke in right in the nick of time, because here's where I want to end my video. Well, I thank everybody for watching.